Welcome back, everyone, to another thrilling episode of Book in the Air. We have another very funny React video for today. The one we did last week was so good, and we got fairly positive views. So we're going to have another reaction video for today, since y'all seem to like that one. This one's a bit shorter, not too much, but short overall. So we are going to feature 7 things that you should not wear on the plane. It doesn't matter if this is a medium haul, like across the east or west coast to Midwest, or if it's a transatlantic or transpacific flight. If you're going from like LA to Tokyo, Japan, and something like that. Now, this is just basic common sense things that you should never ever wear.
However, if you have a reaction that you've experienced, please tell us about it. We would love to hear.
Yes, that'd be fantastic. And at the end, we have a couple news clips I want to go over before I end here. So this was the Pinnacle thing here, the article itself. For those of you who want to read at your own pace, your own leisure, whatever, it's on Travel and Leisure. It's one of their preeminent articles. If you want to check that out. So without further ado, we'll get into it.
Drum roll.
Open-toed shoes.
And yes, open-toed shoes do count as well. Here, let's give them a visual.
Here. These disgusting things.
Yeah, do not wear sandals on there. I don't care.
Now, this also, this isn't just for like flip-flops and things like that, and sandals. This doubly goes for things like high-heeled shoes, open-toe pumps, open-toe stilettos. Anything of that sort can be construed as open-toed.
Yeah, remember the important part. The plane does not have enough time to be thoroughly cleansed, contrary to what everybody says. And when we talk thoroughly cleansed, we're talking, would you walk on any place other than your house?
Always wear shoes in the bathroom, too, as it says here. This is important because it's not just water on the floors in the airplane lavatories. People have done things in there. Also, kids have been in there. And kids...
Also, men can't aim.
Men cannot aim worth at all. So, yeah, if you ever happen to have the absurd inclination to take a black light in with you to the bathroom, please don't. You won't like what you find.
Oh, dear God. Can you imagine just a black light on a plane in general?
Oh, God. You would never want to fly again. Let's see. Yeah. It's been a long while since the carpet and the planes were deep cleaned. Says Bobby Laurie, a travel expert and former flight attendant, also always wears shoes in the bathroom. For reasons already explained.
Humanity in general is disgusting.
Oh, yeah. I will say that during COVID were the cleanest times to fly ever.
Well, yeah, that's because everybody was absolutely terrifying. So, reminder, the only times that things will get very, very clean is when everybody's afraid to die. Now, here's the problem. Did anybody ever notice how during COVID everything would get really sticky? That's the fun part of the residue of alcohol wipes. Alcohol wipes make everything with a really sticky residue, so that's why your computer keyboards or your desk always felt sticky.
That's why your annoying coworker, let's call her Sally, comes by and says, "What have you been doing on your keyboard? Everything is sticky." You have to keep reassuring her they're just alcohol wipes.
Well, it's not just that. You have crumbs that fall down, and there's not really any good way to get it to all come out unless the plane gets open to very fast wind, if you get my drift. Yeah, how to clean a plane. Explosive decompression.
Good God. Okay, moving on.
Speaking of offensive things...
Offensive clothing.
Yes.
Your Let's Go Brandon t-shirt is not welcome on planes.
Yeah.
You're not fooling anyone. Everyone knows what Let's Go Brandon stands for. You're not kidding anyone in the airport. You can leave that crap at home. Save it for November 6th.
Now, remember the important part about this. When it says, if an airline deems your clothing to be offensive, that is not up to the total airline per se. That is up to the captain. The captain is law.
When you see those signs in restaurants or shops in general that say, we reserve the right to refuse service to anyone, that means you. You, Chad, and you, Mike, and you, Susan, and you, Katie. Anyone who wears anything remotely offensive is at the complete jurisdiction and sufferance and subjectivity of the cabin attendant. And they can refuse your seat no matter where you're sitting. Economy, premium economy, business, first class, doesn't matter.
That also means that if you have the grab them by the or FB, I can't even say that one. FB get money. Yeah. Thanks YouTube for the rules. Basically anything that we could use an example, YouTube will say no, bad.
So if we want monetized videos, we gotta keep it clean. Just pretend like your third grade teacher is watching.
I know. Pretend I'm talking to my grandmother who has never seen anything outside. Yeah.
Exactly. Who thinks Tucker Carlson is the end-all and be-all of politeness? And
Actually, no, she doesn't. But that's beside the point. She listens to classical music and thinks PBS is the only thing to watch.
wow, that's so in 1950s.
Yeah, kind of.
If an airline deems your clothing to be offensive, you may be asked to change, and if you refuse, if your principles are worth sticking to that much, then you may be kicked off your flight.
And there are quite a few people, which eventually we may get the time to put together a Karen React video like we've seen some other people like. Who's that one guy that you've watched?
Oh, Eric Strook.
Yeah. Has done Karen React videos. We'll get to that eventually if we have time. But again, two-person operation all the time.
So pajamas. Never wear your pajamas on the plane. We understand you want to be comfy, but there's a limit. I don't care if you're like the cutest girl in high school. You know what? Save it for high school. You don't want to wear that crap on the plane. You do have to be out in public. It's best not to wear pajamas to the airport and on the plane.
Now, stuff that doesn't count. If you want to wear something like this, see, those are sweatpants. They don't count.
But they're hardly classy. But if you want to be comfy on a plane, you can always switch to them in mid-flight. The one
If
exception,
you're not in business.
yeah, if the one exception being if you are in business and you're given pajamas changed into, that's fine. You're expected to wear those. Totally okay. But you have to change back into your clothes before landing. That's a condition.
Yoga pants. Yes
Yoga
or no?
pants, yes. Because yoga pants are designed to be pretty much easy to tell. You can wear those without being subject to the pajama rule. And most flight attendants know the differences between yoga pants and pajamas.
But stuff like leggings could potentially fall under one of our other don'ts, right?
No, I have worn leggings on flights before, and it's been perfectly okay.
Okay. But speaking of other things that everybody can see you in,
Swimming attire. Don't wear your goddamn bikini,
that
your GD bikini. That's fine. It's past the rule.
yeah. Now the big thing also is this. People may think we're just picking on women. Men. Nobody wants to see your Speedos.
God, yeah. Or the latest European trend, the V-string.
I'm sorry, what?
Oh, you haven't heard of that? Yeah, Italy made it very popular,
Of course
and
they did.
it's been spread to Spain, Portugal, France, parts of Germany.
So basically, what you're saying is, if you're going to wear that, put on a pair of board shorts and a t-shirt over it.
No one should be able to see what you have until you're at the beach. And even then, it's subjective. It's what people want to see it, but you're legal. Basically, the V string for men is basically a big banana hammock, but it's on one side, so it comes across like this, with nothing over here. Basically, just enough to like hide
Hide your junk.
your twig and berries.
Wingus and the Ping Pong Boys?
Yes. Bulky metal jewelry. So things like this.
Nah, I think that would be okay, but we're talking like bulky. We're talking like Flava Flav level.
For guys, yeah. For women, even this is a little bulky on planes. Basically, if it sets off the metal detectors at the security checkpoint, you don't want to take it on the plane with you.
Yeah.
If it's that important, put it in your carry-on luggage. You don't want to have like big, huge, dangly earrings and big necklaces.
Well, this also has to do with going through security, because if you have to take it off while you go through security, even if it's something as simple as a Rolex, people can steal things just as easily. I'm honestly surprised some enterprising thief hasn't posted up dressed up as a TSA agent.
They've tried, but the one thing that federal security is really good at is ferreting out people who try to infiltrate their own organization. I mean, regardless of whether you have TSA pre-check, global entry, if you have anything that will set off metal detector, it won't matter. You'll be like anyone else, stuck in the line.
Even with TSA pre-check sometimes.
That's what I just said.
Words. Alright. Speaking of being offensive...
Fragrances. No one wants to be sunk up in a cabin with your offensive cologne.
And that means also personal smells. Take a shower.
And for the love of God, take a bath or a shower. No one wants to smell your Axe bath in the morning on a flight.
Well, it's kind of like, for those of you who understand convention rules.
Like, I don't care if you spend every weekend hunting and fishing. No one wants to smell deer pee. And how you're cloaked in deer pee to like draw in the latest 12-point buck. No one cares. You're surrounded by passengers, upwards of 150, 250 passengers. No one will give a crap about your obsession with the outdoors.
And nobody also wants to smell eau de butt.
Yeah. Fellas, it's not gay to wipe your ass. If anything, it's more attractive because that means when we get down to you, we don't have to worry about, coming away with a lot of dirt, if you know what I mean.
Well, and people do not want to smell innocent. I think I missed one. 1 second.
Oh, you missed one. That's a surprise.
I know. No, I didn't. Okay.
Now, this does remind me of the time I brought a huge sub sandwich into economy with me on a transatlantic flight from Seattle to Europe.
Oh, yeah, I did miss one, but that's... So it's this one. For some reason...
Okay, I guess we're moving on.
Well, no, but let's finish up the fragrances first.
Well, yeah. So, I brought that sandwich on, and I pissed off everyone in the plane.
Well, that was because... I've done the same thing. If you can get... Yes, we're going to name brand drop here. If you happen to get a Subway sandwich and you are able to... In the airport, and you bring it with you on the plane, nobody has anybody to blame but themselves.
I mean, the way airlines are now, and the way airports are, if you are through security and you stop at one of the shops for
I mean, you're already spending $20
Yeah.
on a sandwich anyway.
Yeah, seriously.
You kind of have earned it.
And you get like a 12-inch, I don't know, Italian sub, fine, for your like 14-hour flight. Why not?
Wasn't there somebody on a plane one time? Actually, I think it was the one back from Chicago, who brought an entire bucket of fried chicken on with him or something.
Yeah, that's sucking. I will. I'll go see these.
Yeah, finish.
Yeah,
this
yeah. So we're going to move on here. This is dressing in a single layer. You never know what temperature the plane will be. For reference, Middle Eastern airlines like Qatar, Emirates, Etihad, Gulf Air, Oman Air, etc., even Fly Dubai, their low-cost carrier, tend to run hot. And for that reason, it's important to don't limit yourself to a single layer. Travel in multiple layers so you can always strip down, pardon the expression, strip down to a more conventional layer. More Western airlines like United and Southwest and American, Delta, etc., tend to run cooler. And if they don't, they usually have individual air nozzles that you can scroll or twist to adjust, and put some fresh or cold air on you. Don't know how fresh it will be, but cold air. Most European airlines tend to run cool. Not all of them. It's not a set rule, but they generally tend to run cool. There have been reports of groups like Scandinavian Airlines, SAS, running hot, and the Austrian Airlines, but those are exceptions. And like I said, this is not a set rule. They generally tend to run cool. It's a cultural or climate difference thing, however you want to term it. Nevertheless, wearing a single layer, be it a tank top or a thick sweater, is not a good idea. Wear layers so you're prepared if it's cold, and remove layers if it's hot. That's the important thing right there. That's the important takeaway. Generally, you never want to limit yourself. You want to make sure that you're prepared for any eventuality that you can be. If you're wearing a hoodie, fine. Just don't wear the hood up again. That's a safety thing. If you're really cold and you're in economy, you can put your hood up in the middle of the flight and take it down towards landing. That's about all we have at the moment for that one. And again, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to drop them below.
You said you had a couple stories.
Oh yes. So I was on a train from Copenhagen to Austria. It was Copenhagen to Austria, or to Vienna. And it was very interesting because at the time, a lot of us were sandwiched, or there wasn't a lot of us, but a lot of us for a group were sandwiched into economy class on the train, which are becoming a lot like economy and airlines, but they tend to be cheaper. But regardless, in this one, I was next to one of my classmates who at the time was a very fetching 17-year-old, just turned 18 on that trip, I believe, who happened to have not much on and happened to be afraid of getting stared at by various passengers. But in Europe, no one really stares. They might give you sidelong glances if they don't know what you're doing, but overall it's like, okay, now we know, fine, whatever. They're not really concerned about it. It's just fact of life. I mean, they're very, very used to the human body.
Though you were also going from Copenhagen to Austria, it's not like you were traveling through Italy.
No, that came later.
Hopefully she changed.
Yeah. because May in Florence or Firenze, Italy, kind of chilly. Not cold, but definitely chilly.
Though, I mean, having flown on Spirit as well, not really that comfortable, and even if you turn the AC on full blast, it's hot.
So I was telling our viewers earlier, Middle Eastern airlines tend to run hot, while European and Western airlines in general tend to run on the cool side.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that's the way they always will be, but that's the way they generally tend to run. There have been reports of SAS airlines running a little hot, but again, they're the outlier, and airlines can run whatever they want to run, but they generally tend to run cool.
Yeah, plus it also tends to be a certain way depending upon the season, I've noticed.
Generally. But in the Middle East, when you're in the desert all the time.
Yeah.
For Asian airlines, they tend to run the entire gamut. From cool to warm, although they generally, and interestingly enough, do not have air nozzles above the seats. No matter what class you're in, air nozzles are always absent. Almost always. You might catch an outlier if they've recently acquired a plane from another airline in the West that they haven't modified yet. But overall, airlines like Singapore, ANA, Japan Airlines, Air China,
Asiana.
Ava Air, Korean Air. I mean, and the plethora of low-cost carriers. And the People's Republic of China, there are umpteen thousand airlines too. I mean, you'll find they happen to lack an actual air nozzle. Moral of the story, we're layers.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's short and sweet, but I think that's everything, isn't it?
I think so. Well, I did want to mention, in the news lately, there have been a couple people who have been catching a lot of flack online, especially for refusing to give up their business class seat, for people who have asked them kindly to switch seats. Now, I'm going to come down on the side of the person who decided not to switch seats.
Well, again, it comes down to one thing. For our flight to Germany, how much is it costing us for the tickets?
$9,200.
Right, and I guarantee you that if somebody asked me or you to switch seats and I was to go back, the choice is to go back to economy, that is trading a, what, $5,000, $4,000 seat for a seat that costs $250, right?
Oh yeah, easily, because, I mean, hell, you can get an economy class seat to Europe and back for around $235 total.
Yeah, and you get no amenities, no check baggage, and I'm just supposed to give it up to them when they're going to say, please? No.
If you were a good person, give this to me. You know what? I will take being a bad person for unlimited refills of Moet champagne, or Moet as they say in the UK, and a very comfortable lie flat seat.
Yeah. If you happen to give me $10,000 cash right then, I might consider it.
Because our flights were about $2,000 per person each way, so it's 4 flights times 2. It's $8,000 plus taxes, rollover fees, airport fees, fuel, luggage, etc.
Yeah. Again, if you give me $10,000 cash right then, if you pulled out $10,000, not a check because I don't trust checks not to bounce because people are jerks, and if you're asking me for an upgrade, that already tells me you're not trustworthy.
Right. And you can't Debit or Venmo because it's over the limit.
Yeah. So, no. So, in general, and I wouldn't even be sure if that $10,000 cash was fake or not. So,
Unless you hold up the airplane light and you set out a marker.
plus, if you got $10,000 on you, that's some red flags.
And why are you flying economy anyway, if you have the money? And one couple was a family and who wanted to sit together, and one couple was an elderly couple on their anniversary who wanted to sit together. I'm sorry, I'm not responsible for your lack of judgments in picking out a seat.
Well, and neither for your lack of preparedness.
If the person got upgraded or paid the upgrade costs to the flight, congratulations to them.
Mhm.
They deserve the upgrade. I may not like them as a person, but that's no bearing.
But again, they were able to get it because they were savvy and smart.
Yeah. Okay, on a 787, for example, on a Dreamliner, we'll take the smallest version, the Dash 8. Only has about 14 business class seats. It has like 240 economy seats.
Well, and here's the other question: were all the business / first class were taken?
Yeah.
So
I think there were like one next to them that was vacant, and they wanted to sit together. You can't sit together in business. It doesn't work that way. I mean, I suppose on some carriers and airlines they work that way, but even then you have a
that brings
divider
up the
between
other
seats.
question. Why didn't they ask at the gate, "Hey, can I upgrade?" They would have waited until everybody else had boarded, and they would have charged them the upgrade fee. Why didn't they do that? They waited till they were on the plane. That means they were
Because
just
they're boarding.
That means they were just trying to circumvent paying, which means they were trying to be cheap.
Yeah.
That means they were trying to take advantage of the airlines.
Which means I have no sympathy for them whatsoever.
Yeah, exactly.
And I am as proletariat as they come, but in this case, I have to come down on the side of bourgeoisie. The airline had a right. They have every right to discriminate on the passengers. Keep their butts in economy. If they really want to upgrade, they can be upgraded to premium economy.
Yeah, it's just trying to take advantage of the system in the stupidest possible way.
If you pay the upgrade price or pay outright for business, congratulations, Mazel Tov. That's what you deserve. You should enjoy that flight. If you are trying to sneak onto that plane and switch seats in order to attain a better class of seats rather than the $250 economy class you paid for, no. You should either have your economy class seats or be kicked off.
Yeah. People suck.
Well, that's all I have for you today. This week and next weekend, rather, we're doing an analysis of the backbone of the U.S. global military power, the KC-135 Stratotanker. If you have anything else, and to remind you guys, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel for more content, and I would love to have you and comment, question, any type of interaction. I'm grateful. And please consider joining my Patreon. Link is on my site and below on my YouTube channel somewhere. All you gotta do is like one click somewhere here. And I will see you in there.